Imagine this. You're just, going about your day, phone's buzzing, and suddenly a text pops up. And it sounds like really good news or refund. Your ears kind of perk up, right? But then maybe that little voice in your head whispers, hang on, is this too good to be true?
Well, today we're diving into exactly that scenario. We're going to unpack a very specific, very timely scam hitting folks in Florida, and how a seemingly simple text message can actually hide some pretty serious risks. Our mission in this deep dive is basically to figure out precisely what these messages say, why they're so dangerous, and probably most importantly, what you need to know to protect yourself. Okay, let's unpack this.
And that skepticism, that little whisper you mentioned, that's more critical than ever in our world today, isn't it? So much information flying around. Understanding how to actually verify official communications, how to tell what's legit from what's just designed to rip you off, it's really a fundamental skill now. And this particular scam, well, it offers a really clear case study, almost textbook. What's valuable for you listening in is that by sort of dissecting these specific tactics, you'll be much better equipped. Better equipped to spot similar attempts, whether they see they're from Florida Revenue or anyone else official. Doesn't matter where they come from. The patterns scammers use, they're often remarkably consistent. Once you see them, you really can't unsee them.
Yeah, that's the goal exactly. Spot the pattern. And the reports on this one have been pretty widespread, actually. We've heard from the community that Florida residents are definitely being targeted with these scam texts, and they specifically claim to be from the Florida Department of Revenue, so it sounds official. Now, these aren't just vague phishing things, they're quite specific. The messages state that a refund request has been processed and approved. See? That's the hook right there. I mean, who doesn't want a refund? But here's where it takes that sharp turn into dangerous territory. Recipients are then asked to, quote, provide payment information through a suspicious link. Uh-oh. And just to add pressure, the text also threatens that failure to respond will result in the loss of the refund. It sounds pretty convincing on the surface, doesn't it? Just official enough to maybe catch you off guard. So what specific psychological buttons are these scammers really pushing here?
Well, what's fascinating here is how skillfully they play on both hope and fear. At the same time, think about it. The immediate promise of money, a refund, that taps right into, a basic human desire, a windfall maybe, or just getting what you think you're owed. That feeling of potential gain.
Yeah.
It can often lower our guard, make us a bit more receptive than we usually are.
Right, you want to believe it.
Exactly. Then almost immediately, they hit you with a high-stakes threat. Failure to respond will result in the loss. This creates this intense urgency, like a ticking clock. It compels you to act fast before you lose something valuable.
Yeah, that fear of missing out.
Precisely. It's designed to short-circuit your critical thinking, really. Push you past your natural caution.
Yeah.
This mix of desire and fear. It's a classic psychological tactic. You see it in countless scams, whether it's a fake package delivery text demanding quick action, or an email claiming your account's locked out right now. The core strategy is the same. Create a strong emotional response to bypass logic. Understanding these emotional triggers that pull towards a reward and that push away from a loss, that's absolutely key. Key to recognizing not just this scam, but all sorts of similar attempts trying to manipulate you into a hasty decision. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? How many decisions are kind of nudged by these drivers every day?
That's such a critical point. It's not just the words, it's those emotional levers, like you said. So, okay, what does this all mean for you, the listener, if you actually get one of these messages? Especially maybe if you are actually expecting a legitimate refund from the state, that could be confusing. How do you handle that initial reaction, that, ooh, money feeling, without, maybe missing out if it were real, which it isn't, but let's cut right to the chase here, because the official word is out and it's absolutely clear.
Yes, the definitive truth, straight from our sources, is that officials have confirmed this is, without any doubt, a scam. Period. And here is the single most important detail. The one thing, if you remember nothing else, remember this. The Florida Department of Revenue does not send text messages asking for your personal or banking information.
Okay, that's the key.
Let me say that again because it's crucial. They do not. This isn't a sometimes thing or maybe in this situation. It's a categorical, non-negotiable fact. They don't do it.
That's the game changer right there. Knowing that official policy that they never communicate this way via text. That's basically your shield.
Exactly. Your armor, like you said.
Yeah.
So any message like this, pretending to be from the Florida Department of Revenue, asking for personal or banking details through a text link, it is 100% fraudulent, no question. And if we kind of connect this to the bigger picture,
Right.
well, it really highlights a fundamental principle. Almost all legitimate government agencies, banks, financial institutions, they stick to this rule. They universally avoid using unsecured channels like just a standard text message for sensitive data.
Right, it's just too risky.
Way too risky. Why? Because texts can be easily spoofed, fake. A scammer can make it look like it's coming from an official number, even when it absolutely isn't. Plus, texts lack the encryption needed to protect your financial info. And they don't have those secure verification steps you get with official websites or, verified email. Can you imagine the chaos? The security nightmares if government agencies just started texting everyone asking for bank account numbers?
Yeah, no.
They simply won't do it. The risks are far too high. So, knowing this one concrete fact, they never initiate these requests via text. That's your primary defense. Not just against this specific Florida scam, but against similar tactics from any supposed official source trying the same trick.
That principle really is your ultimate defense. It just underscores why understanding how official bodies actually communicate is so vital. It's like knowing the secret handshake and the scammers, well, they don't know it. Or rather, they try to fake it. Okay, so with that rock-solid truth in mind, they never text for info. Here's where it gets really practical. Because the steps to protect yourself are clear. They're actionable. If one of these texts lands on your phone, what should you do? What are the immediate, step-by-step actions officials recommend we take?
Exactly. And these aren't just, suggestions. They are vital defenses. They protect you against potential financial fraud, even identity theft. So here are the 5 specific things officials say you should do. First, and this is absolutely critical, do not click the link. Just don't.
Number 1 rule.
It's the gateway for the scammers. Clicking it can lead you straight to a phishing website, a fake site built just to trick you into typing in your login or your bank details. Or worse, it could download malware, malicious software, onto your phone or computer.
Right. Nasty stuff.
Yeah, and that malware can give scammers access to everything.
Yeah.
Your contacts, your banking apps, everything. It's like opening your front door to a total stranger. You just don't do it. The risk is way too high. Second, do not reply. Don't text back. Not even a simple "S.P." or "Who is this?"
Oh, interesting. Why not even reply?
Because replying, even negatively, confirms to the scammers that your number is active, that there's a real person on the other end. Once they know your number is live, guess what? It makes you a prime target for more scam attempts.
Ah, okay. So you end up on a verified active numbers list for them.
Pretty much. It could escalate to phone calls, more texts, maybe more sophisticated phishing emails. It's just best to cut off all communication immediately. Ghost them. Third, do not share any personal information. Now, this might seem obvious, right?
You'd think so, yeah.
But under that pressure, the promise of a refund, the threat of losing it, people can sometimes second guess themselves, maybe just for a second. So be firm. No banking details, no social security number, no date of birth, nothing sensitive. Legitimate organizations have secure ways to handle this stuff. Secure websites, verified phone calls you initiate, never an unsolicited text. Always remember, if they're asking for sensitive data over text, that is a huge, massive red flag. Fourth, report it. Now, our source doesn't list every single place to report, but the clear advice is tell the authorities.
Okay, like who?
Well, typically you'd want to report it to the agency being impersonated, so the Florida Department of Revenue directly, if they have a fraud reporting channel. Also, consumer protection agencies are good. Think the State Attorney General's office or the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. They track these scams nationally.
Got it. So reporting helps them see the bigger picture.
Exactly. It helps them monitor trends, issue warnings to others, and sometimes even track down the people behind the scams. Your report, even if it feels small, really does contribute to protecting the whole community. And finally, fifth, delete it immediately. Just get rid of the message.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Precisely. Removing it from your phone reduces the chance you might accidentally click that link later, maybe when you're distracted or tired, or you just forgot about the warning. Get it out of there. Keep yourself safe. This whole thing raises an important question about our digital literacy, how we can all be sort of smarter consumers of information online and on our phones. Each of these 5 steps is a small act of vigilance, isn't it? But you put them together and they form a really powerful shield against these digital threats that are, honestly, always evolving.
That's your playbook right there. Those 5 steps. Don't click, don't reply, don't share, report, delete. Simple, but incredibly effective. So when it comes to anything about money, especially a surprise refund promise, just always be skeptical of unsolicited texts. Let this deep dive really nail down that one core truth for you. If a message says it's from the Florida Department of Revenue and asks for bank info via text, it's a scam, full stop. Remember those actions, stick to them, and you'll steer clear of this trap.
Absolutely. And maybe, as a final thought to leave you with, think about how this scam specifically targets that appeal of good news, that promise of a refund, how it uses that to get you to maybe lower your guard just a little bit. So how many other messages do you get every day? Texts, emails, social media posts that try to tap into your desires or your fears. Messages that subtly push you towards doing something without maybe fully thinking it through. It makes you consider, what is the real cost of convenience of that instant click, that quick reply, if the price might be compromising your security, your identity? Staying informed about these evolving tactics like we've talked about today, it isn't just a good idea. It truly is your best, most proactive defense in this digital age. What are those subtle ways you notice technology trying to nudge your decisions day to day? And how can you make sure you keep that critical thinking switched on? Something to mull over.